In the year 1765, in the rugged highlands of Scotland, where mist rolled over the hills like restless spirits and winter winds carved hunger into the bones of the poor, a boy named Alastair McKenna was born into a life no child should endure. His home was a collapsing wooden hut at the edge of a dying village, and his family, what remained of it, was held together only by struggle and prayer. His father had been a shepherd until disease took him. His mother washed clothes until her hands bled, but even that wasn't enough to feed Alastair and his two younger sisters. Poverty was not a season for them. It was a lifetime. At age 9, Alastair learned the cruel mathematics of survival. If he didn't work, they didn't eat. So he walked miles into the hills, collecting firewood to sell, carrying loads bigger than his tiny body. His shoes had holes, his clothes were thin, and winter winds sliced through him like knives. Yet every dawn he rose again. He had no choice. People in the village pitied him, but never helped much. "Poor child," they'd whisper. "He'll never escape this life." Even at that age, those words cut deeper than hunger. By age 12, he found work in a tannery, scraping hides in icy water until his hands cracked and bled. The smell stuck to his skin for months. Many boys quit in days. Alastair worked for 3 years. One night, after a brutal winter storm had torn the roof off their hut, his mother finally gave up hope. "Alastair," she said, "leave this place. Go south, find work, save yourself." Her voice trembled, not from cold, but from fear that she was sending her son into a world far harsher than the one they already lived in. At 15, with nothing but a torn satchel, a wooden spoon, and 3 coins, Alastair began a journey that would one day make his name known across the northern world. He walked from his village to Inverness, sleeping in barns, eating nothing for days. When he reached the city, he entered a world he had never seen. Markets filled with traders, ships from faraway ports, and craftsmen selling goods he'd never imagined existed. He became obsessed, not with wealth, but with learning. His first job was at a cooper's workshop, where barrels were made. It was back-breaking work, hammering iron hoops, cutting wood, balancing heavy frames. But he watched the master cooper closely. He studied how he negotiated prices, how he calculated profits, how he treated customers. For the first time, Alastair saw the structure behind business, how skill, discipline, and reputation formed the backbone of every trade. For 2 years, he worked silently, absorbing everything. Then fate struck a blow that almost ruined him. The workshop caught fire one winter night. Everything burned: tools, wood, barrels, records. The owner declared bankruptcy, and Alastair lost both his job and the small savings he had earned. He almost gave up. Almost. But something inside him refused to let the world win so easily. He remembered his father's words: "We McKennas are made of storms. We don't break. We carve our own path." So Alastair made a decision that would change his life. He would start his own small trade. But he had nothing. No tools. No money. No workshop. All he had was a brain sharpened by hardship and a hunger for a better life. He began by offering simple services on the docks, carrying crates, repairing wooden crates, sharpening small tools. He worked day and night, refusing to sit idle for even a minute. Sailors mocked him. Dock workers underpaid him. Foremen ignored him. But Alastair kept going. He saved every coin he earned, spending only on bread, water, and occasionally a candle, so he could study shipping ledgers late into the night. At 17, he noticed something other young men didn't. Many ships arriving at the port had damaged barrels and crates. These damaged goods cost merchants thousands of pounds every year. So Alistair invented a new business idea, a simple one but revolutionary for his age: mobile crate and barrel repair. He built a tiny cart from discarded wood, attached wheels he found in the scrapyard, and carried tools he borrowed from dock workers. He walked from ship to ship, offering fast repairs at cheaper prices than anyone else. People laughed at him in the beginning. "A boy with a homemade cart?" they sneered. "Go back to the fields." But the boy refused to bend. He worked faster than grown men. He repaired with precision. He charged fairly. And when a merchant asked how he learned the craft, he didn't mention his failures. He mentioned his discipline. Slowly, respect followed. At 19, he earned enough to rent a tiny storage shed and turn it into a proper workshop. He hired his first helper, a homeless boy named Rowan. Instead of treating him like labor, he trained him like a brother. Soon, Rowan was as skilled as Alistair, and the two began fulfilling large orders for shipping merchants. By 22, Alistair wasn't just repairing crates. He was building them. He introduced stronger designs that survived longer voyages. He studied maps, trade routes, and ship weights. He understood what merchants needed before they said it. His reputation began spreading beyond Inverness. Then, at 25, his life took a dramatic turn. A wealthy English merchant named Lord Hastings visited the port and saw Alistair's work. He was stunned by the craftsmanship. "Where did you learn this?" Hastings asked. "In poverty," Alistair answered simply. Hastings offered him a contract to supply barrels for 3 major ports: Edinburgh, Glasgow, and London. It was the opportunity of a lifetime. But Alistair was terrified. He had only one workshop, 2 workers, and limited resources. Taking the contract could either make him a wealthy man or bankrupt him. That night he sat alone, staring at the candle, thinking of his mother's tired face, his sister's hunger, the endless winter nights of his childhood. Then he whispered aloud, "I did not survive storms just to fear the wind." He signed the contract. For 2 years, he worked harder than any man alive. He expanded his workshop, hired more workers, trained them personally, and traveled between ports, ensuring quality remained perfect. He slept on ships, in warehouses, in cold rooms filled with sawdust, but his barrels became the standard across the kingdom. By age 30, he had built the largest barrel and crate manufacturing company in Scotland. But he didn't stop there. He reinvested everything into a new idea: exporting Scottish goods, wool, whiskey, and timber, using his own ships. He purchased a small cargo vessel, restored it with his workers, and named it the Highland Eagle, a tribute to his homeland. His first voyage was a disaster. A storm nearly destroyed the ship. Half the cargo was lost. Investors pulled out. People mocked him again. But Alistair did what he had done all his life. He stood back up. He rebuilt the ship stronger, reinforced the hull, learned navigation himself, hired the best sailors he could find. And on the second voyage, the Highland Eagle returned with 3 times the profit. That was the beginning of Alistair's shipping empire. By 40, he owned 5 ships. By 45, he was a respected businessman across the UK and colonies. By 50, he became one of the wealthiest men in Scotland, having risen from hunger, humiliation, and hopelessness to command an empire built with his bare hands. And yet he never returned to luxury. Every winter, he traveled back to the highlands, carrying food, tools, and money to help poor families. He rebuilt homes, funded schools, and hired children from broken families. He told them, "Your past is a storm, not a sentence." When he turned 60, he stood on a cliff overlooking the sea, remembering the barefoot boy he once was. He smiled, not because he had become rich, but because he had become strong. Pain had shaped him, discipline had saved him, and belief had carried him to heights no one imagined. His life became a story told for generations, how a boy with nothing built everything. And his final message remains eternal. The world will doubt you, ignore you, push you, break you. But if you stand firm with discipline, courage, and purpose, no storm can stop you. Never give up. Never bow to fear. Rise above excuses. Your story is not finished yet. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories inspired by Eric Bertrand Larssen.